Sigeleli Afrika maluphakanyiswa uphandalwayo izwa imithandazo yethu Nkosi sikelela thina lusapho lwayo Murena buluka sichaba saeso Ufedise ditwali matswenyeho Usibuluke sichaba saeso Sichaba sa South Africa South Africa Each die blauw van ons hemel Each die diepte van ons Waar ons weggebergd is Waar die grondse antwoord gee Sounds the call to come together and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Baqhwabeleni izandla bethuna, our boys and girls in blue. Thank you. Thank you, Shooter. Siyabulela kakhulu. Ngoku ndicela sizobiza uBishop Andile Bhele Mbethe azokusenzela i-opening devotion kulo msitho ungaka. Cela abantu abathwele iminqwazi bayothule kuba ngoku siza kwenza umthandazo. Liza lisithinga lakho Thixo Nkosi yenyaniso zonke inhlanga zonke izizwe mazizuze usindiso yala Nkosi singa
Masihlale phansi. Mr. President, and all protocol observed, manibulise kusasa nje emolweni. Ixesha sinalo. And so let me quote homework endawo ilungisa kwenye indawo. In a book called Jeremiah, isahluko ngu-51, ivesi ngu-50, kukho amazwi athi emva kwexesha elinzima. Nina nisindileyo ekreleni, balekani ningemi. You who have escaped from the sword, run and do not linger. So before I offer this prayer, Mr. President, I want on behalf of God to say, xa kunzima, when you are facing difficulties in life, when as a nation you are facing challenges, noba ungumntu izinto zakho azicaci, the first thing that you must remember when you wake up, ukuthi ndisindile. Abanye abantu babelele izolo abavukanga. Every morning, take it as a blessing that you are awake and say, Lord, thank you for another opportunity. Lamazwi ayethethwe emveni kwembuqe yemfazwe kwashiyeka i-remnants uthi ke kuzo nina nisindileyo, you who have escaped. I'm one of those who even escaped COVID. Nina nisindileyo ekreleni. When there was a system that wanted to kill all of us, to destroy us, by the grace of God, we escaped. Nisibona silapha nje sisizwe. Asiphumanga ngenceba yabantu ababesicinezela. We have escaped by the grace of God. Esibini into out of 3. Kuthiwa President, noba kunzima, noba kumnyama, when you are still alive and you have escaped, hamba. Don't stand. The greatest danger of this country is not those who are fighting against movement. The greatest danger is when the majority, out of fear, stand. When you have a president that does not move in spite of difficulties, then there's trouble. Xa kusangxolwa, kusifiwa, akumiwa. Nina nisindile ekreleni, hambani. Don't stand. And ayivale ngelithi ningemi. Hambani, ningemi. Walk, do not linger. There's no time to linger. Masivale man. We can assure you, President, as one of the spiritual fathers of the Eastern Cape, ukuthi sigqithile kwincilikithi ngoku. We have moved beyond that dangerous ncilikithi. Ndibone na last week ndingekho uthi President into le incilikithi. It's a big headache. incilikithi ndibone kude kwakho ne-youth yombutho ndathi tyhini incilikithi iyaphela naba bantwana i-ANC Youth League. These are signs incilikithi iyadlula. But I can assure you, sir, ukuthi in your campaign away from Egypt, don't spend most of the time here. We are fine. We should give you a healthy majority in the Eastern Cape. Kulapha umbutho wenziwa khona kwatyiwa inkomo zabathembu eBloemfontein kwaphuma inkomo zayuseka umbutho asizujika uFaro makalibale nabantu bakhe. We are moving forward. Don't linger. Go. My last take is an African philosophy. A homework, Dr. President, kuthiwa apha ngesiXhosa uPremier uyawuzama utolika le nto kuthiwa baphathiswa nonke xa kusenga abantu abanezandla ezinomlaza imazi ziyaphunza. That's high Xhosa. Xa kusenga, when during milking time, okay, uxolo bethuna. During milking time, we must always make sure that those who are milking the cows have clean hands, so to speak. Xa kusenga abantu abanezandla ezimdaka, imazi ezi zisengwayo ziyaphunza. You may have a healthy budget, but if the milking boys and girls have dirty hands, sizawulamba. And therefore, on this day, Katatu Madiba, on his birthday, next to his grave, I charge you to clean your hands so that we can have milk and feed our children. Masiyeke man. Mastandaz. And so, Father, as we gather in this place, we have invited you. We sang the national anthem. This national anthem is a prayer that is enough. And so I raise my hands to say, may this place here be holy. Sinike lo mzuzu egameni lika Madiba. May every word that is going to be said here, every song that will be sung, may all our actions be like a healthy family. Sikelela uPresident wethu nabaphathiswa bonke bakhusele emini nasebusuku. Sikelela uPremier wethu nabaphathi bethu kweliphondo. Bless Africa. Bless South Africa. Bless this province. Bless this municipality. But most of all today, we say, bless the descendants of the Mandela family. May they come. May they be strong. May they be healthy. Sikelela uthamsanqelisa wandise. Egameni kaThixo uyise nonyana nomoya ingcwele. Amen.
Siyabulela kakhulu kuBishop Andile Bhele Mbethe. Mandithathe ke elithuba dibulise kumongameli wethu, our president, His Excellency Tatu Cyril Ramaphosa. Dibulise Honorable Premier, number 1 of this province, the home of legends. Nyana Kamambathan. Udiya, Honorable Premier Lubabalo Oscar Mabuyane. Dibulise uchomu wam, my co-program director, Honorable Minister, ngicela uzomapha abantu bakubona because uzaba ngu-program director. Minister uzizi good enough kodwa. Nguzizi ncediso good enough kodwa sizaba ngo-program director sobabini. Dibulise ke enkosi kakhulu. Dibulise nankufaku usodolophu walapha eWarithambo. Ukhansila Mesuli Ngqondwana. Faku bakubonile Ngqondwana. Dibulise all the mayors ezilapha bethuna kanithi shine. Nobu ngowe local municipality, nobu ngowe district, nobu ngowe metro. Dibulise i-ministers ezilapha ze cabinet ka honorable president ne deputy ministers. Just wave your hands where you are. Nazo ke ministers ne deputy ministers ka president. Dibulise i-members of the provincial legislature in the Eastern Cape. Klonda oni kuyo kanithi shine betuna. Dinibonile nikhona nonke. The committees, the members of the council, the entities, including in Nelson Mandela Museum, itini shine klonda oni kuyo. The Public Service Commission, the commissioners, zethu the public service, maziti shine klonda ozikuyo. Dibulise abantwana begazi angeke ndithi shine anayo netyip anayo nekati kodwa ke zenzeni nika kuba abantu bayanibona bazikhona inkosi zakowethu zikhokhelwa ngusihlalo wendlu yenkosi kweliphondo agwebnqele inkosi uGwadiso ndingamkhahlela noko yena sibulise ke our community Khoisan community that other side molweni. The clergy, abantu abathandazela ukuba singasoloko sisona uThixo sixolela izono zethu. The clergy, that is the church leaders that are amongst us, hayi ningathi shine noka nawusikelwa loo nto ecaweni. Dibulise bethuna omama notata, intombi, obhuti, osisi abalapha kule ndlu nonke zi-VIPs today. Molweni! Molweni nonke! Igama lami ndingonceba Khontsiwe ndingumamvundle ubhayi ukhetha ugwaca ugobota umsuthukazi nyoka emnyama ecanda izize bubheke lisuthu ndizoba ngumbhexeshi wale nkqubo ke ukusukela ngoku. Cela nime kakuhle and fasten your seat belts. Ndibulisa usapho lwaMadiba odlomo sophisho yemye movela bambhetsele usapho lokatata omkhulu Mandela esingaye namhlanje ndibona undiyedwa uba bakhona abanye ke uyawubakhomba kanithi wave where you are. Thank you very much nkosi kakhulu. Ndicela ke nizole kuba ngoku ufuneke ndibize unumber 1 wale phondo. The ambassadors from different countries. You know, we are very honored here. We've got ambassadors from different countries amongst us. Kunzima ubiza la magama endoyika uwapronounce wrong. Better ndithi nje ambassadors. Honorable Minister uzawabiza ngokwakhe. You are very much welcomed here. I am calling on our Honorable Premier, the one and only number 1 of this province. They call him names, you know, Mos. They say Ngunyana Kamambatane, they say Ngudiya, but Ngut Delicious, the darling, Honorable Oscar Mabuyane, to welcome you all here. Over to you, Honorable Premier. Nango kupetula kandungwan. Kwesha!
Thank you very much, Program Directors, Minister, Wakwa Sport Arts and Culture, no MEC, Wakwa Desrek, Mandinike Imbeko, kwesisilili sabathembu kwikumkani yabathembu ukumkani uZwelibanzi uba mhlawumbe besinophakama siyenze lo mbeko singamadoda yokukhahlela ikumkani sitsho sonke sithi aZwelibanzi 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 enkosi Ngokwenza njalo ndinika imbeko kwiinkosi zonke eziphakathi kwethu namhlanje. His Excellency, the President of our Republic, President Cyril Ramaphosa, our government ministers and MECs, usihlalo wendlu yenkosi ephondweni, iphondo lelodwa, ezinye zii-provinces, ephondweni. Unkosi uGwemnqele, umeya wase-OR Tambo nomeya abamxhagileyo bonke, baninzi oomeya ndibabonileyo apha namhlanje. Distinguished guests, by that I mean all excellencies that have been acknowledged. Ladies and gentlemen, abantu base-Qunu, abantu base-KSD, abantu base-OR Tambo, abantu basephondweni, molweni ephondweni. Mongameli, President Mandela Ramaphosa, allow me to welcome you to the birth province of Isithalandwe, Siyaparangwe. President Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. Nguwe ke namhlanje isithethiso suku. Andifuna ukuphazamisa kuloo ndawo. Ndiqhela uba i-guest speaker apha xa ungekho. Ndiyabona namatshawa lapha namampondo alapha ikumkani zithumele kwizindlu zazo. Mandenje nje ke mongameli, abantu beliphondo banobubele kakhulu, bayakuthanda kwaye bakuhloniphile njengabantu bamaphondo bonke beli lizwe laseMzantsi Afrika. Siyabulela ke apha ephondweni xa wamkele isimemo sabathembu sokokuba uzobhiyoza nabo nathi lo mhla wokuzalwa kale ngangalala ingudalibhunga. Uba ebephila besakuba sicelebrate iminyaka yakhe elikhulu elinantlanu. Ngelishwa ke akasaphili. Utshilo ke apha uBishop Mbethe into yoba President, abantu base-Eastern Cape baphuma kudala kwincilikithi, abanancilikithi. We've got clarity of mind, clarity of thought. We know exactly where we are coming from, where we are, and also we know where we are actually going to. Ngayo le mini, President, amaxhego asebathenjini abizwa esidla imbadu ngasebuhlanti kusithiwa ifikile indodana, yathiywa igama kwesi silili sabathembu kwathiwa nguRholihlahla. Laduma izulu ngoba kaloku kuba njalo xa kuzalwa inkosi. Yathi kanti kuzalwa idamanethi yabathembu. Zange ke abaphoqe abathembu uDalibhunga ukusuka ekuzalweni wade wayolala uMadibomde. Inene elasifundisa ukuxolela, imbeko, ubulali, intobeko, kodwa wasifundisa nokokuba singalibali. Madiba, Dalibhunga, msimbithi wesizwe. Today, as we gather here on this auspicious occasion, organized by the department led by Minister Zizi Kodwa, we come together not only to celebrate our rich heritage, but also to address the daunting challenges we face as a nation, particularly here in our province. The obstacles we face from high youth unemployment, poverty, and rising inequalities. Masukubulele mongameli uba la nkqubo yakho ekhokelwa ngupresident yokudala amathuba emisebenzi kweli phondo isidalele amathuba emisebenzi aqabeleyo ku-100,000 for young people. Ngoku ndime kule ndawo u-MEC wakwa-education atsho uba phaa kwa-education kuphela abantu abatsha abayi-41,000 baqashiwe bazii-teacher assistants kuthiwa ke zii-EAs, Education Assistant phaya esikolweni. So ngamanye amathuba emisebenzi esiwadalileyo mongameli ngokukhokelwa nguwe, siyayibulela loo nto. Masikubulele mongameli abantu beliphondo xa behleli ngohlobo bayafuna ukuva. Ndiyayazi uba besekuthiwa phaa kunational ndingu-Mr. Mzimvubu. Mandivume ke uba uMzimvubu udam president under your leadership finally is taking off. La 8 billion ye-first phase siyayibulela. Sijonge no-second phase. Kamnandi oosomashishini sebezile president bathi willing to invest for the second phase. Ukusincedisa kule nto inento kwenza ne-hydropower. Kuba elaa dami lizawufuna umbane wokulisusteyina. Siyasebenza president apha no-Sanral ukulungisa indlela. Ezinye asikwazi uzilungisa president indlela kuba abantu bokhe phezu kwendlela. Bekufanele uba uSandral le ndlela sesebenza kuyo le uyibonayo esuka ngakoqweqwe ukuza ngapha. But kuba abantu bokhe phezu kwendlela de bayokokha naphezu kweziporo zetrain, siyabacela ke abantu bakuthi bazame uvula indlela. Nendlela esuka e-airport ezedolophini bekufanele uba seyingu-4 lanes. Laa ndlela ngumsebenzi osiwenza noSandral, but asikwazi kuba abantu bokhe phezu kwendlela. Bathembu ke siyanicela namampondo, izizwe zonke ezikule ndawo, okokuba zisebenzisane nathi. Zonke ezo nzame president zinzame zakho zokusikhokela kakuhle kweli lizwe laseMzantsi Afrika. President, sinengxaki apha. Ezinye zezo ngxaki yimiba ye-gender based violence, i-crime. Kodwa si-committed president ekulwiseni nezi zinto lemingeni. Amapolisa enza umsebenzi omkhulu apha. Ewe i-crime iyenziwa ingakumbi kule ndawo yaseMthatha kuba yenye yendawo ezihamba phambili elizweni. Kodwa iyehla president ngokwe-statistics esinaso. And amapolisa ayababamba abantu abazizaphula mthetho qho xa besenza loo nto. Kodwa sirhalela uba ingenziwa i-crime. Siyafuna amapolisa aqinise kwi-intelligence into kokuba sikwazi uyidetecta i-crime before it is done, so that abantu bakuthi bahlale kakuhle ingakumbi abantu abangomama. In the spirit of Madiba, President, we are called upon to serve our fellow citizens with vision, dignity, and courage. It is not just about remembering his words. It is about living his values, about embodying his spirit in our action, our policies, and in our institutions. Our province is a land of immense potential and wealth, from the natural richness of our environment to the untapped genius of our people. However, this wealth is not distributed equally or equitable. We must integrate policy and build state capacity to address this issue as we are building the state capacity, not only for fairness, but to promote social justice and economic stability. We must commit, Mr. President, to plans and programs that promote equal opportunities for all, especially the poor and marginalized who have been denied access to equality or quality health, education, housing, and social infrastructure. Xa uthetha ngolwamvila lwe-apartheid ne-colonialism, President, lufika apha luqatsele ulwamvila lwayo kweli phondo. Kuba senziwa saliphondo lokuxhasa amanye amaphondo. Siwabone khulu amanye amaphondo ngeli xesha thina sime endaweni enye. So kufika ixesha loba sitshintshe loo meko ke ngoku khona ukuze eli phondo ibe liphondo elikwazi ukukhula ngokukhawuleza linike amathuba namarhewu aluhlaza kubantwana babo. We are on the brink of a technological revolution that promises a change on how we live, work and relate to one another. Ubonile President, sifikele kubantwana pha besibonisa i-coding. Iyakuxelela into yokuba the fourth industrial revolution is here and it is indeed inevitable. We need to invest in innovation and technology to enhance the productivity of key sectors of industry in our society. With suitable investment and focused technology can be a greater leveler, helping to reduce inequality, improve access to services, and create new opportunities for our youth. An essential part of this strategy, Mr. President, is investing in education, building institutions of higher learning that equip our youth with knowledge, skills, and values they need to be active. Ubaxelela abantwana president uba mabafunde kuba ulwazi lusekufundeni. Ukufunda ke kukuvula incwadi noba sowufundile. The more you read, the more you will understand and know issues better. The challenges we face are complex and the road ahead is long. But as Mandela once said, it always seems impossible until it's done. We need to strengthen the resilience of our social system, empower communities, and create institutions that are efficient but also ethical, accountable, and responsive to the needs of the people. To address the challenge, Mr. President, we face and fully embrace the spirit of Utatu Mandela's legacy, we need to implement critical developmental strategies encompassing every facet of our society. With distribution, a continent of equity and justice is paramount. We must commit to policies that support small businesses and entrepreneurship, promote fair trade, and encourage investment. Ndichaphazela nje mongameli izinto ukuzama uvula indlela. Ndisithi umzamo omhle siyawuzama, kodwa ugqatso Mr. President asikazolufeza. Siliphondo Mr. President elibonakala lisengxakini kwimicimbi ye-disaster. I-disaster apha ihlabanisele every time sisiya kwi-summer season. Sinengxaki Mr. President apha over and above that disaster ne-COVID esirecoverisha kuyo yokubhubha kwabantwana abangabakhwetha esuthwini. Our young boys are dying in the initiation schools, Mr. President. We are calling our people in this province to work with us. We have enacted laws that seek to prevent this, but our young people continues to die. Ibhlungu into yobona abantwana bevula amehlo besiya kwi-death sentence. To date, about 19 boys have died from the initiation schools. Kukho abantu abadelela nemithetho ebekiweyo bayabanjwa, Mr. President. Kodwa ezo nto azibangeli babantu baphule imithetho. Sicela isociety. Kufike ixesha lokokuba isociety ime ngenyawo. Ulwaluko asiyonto yankosi. Ulwaluko into ye-society, into ye-family. Yiyo le nto wena tata nawe mama xa uza kwalusa umntana funeka nihlale intlanganiso endlini. Nihlale intlanganiso nomntwana. Nibonise umntwana indlela azayihamba. Nihambe niyofuna ingcibi efanelekileyo. Nihambe niyofuna ikhankatha oluke umntana ngendlela efanelekileyo. Isiko lokwaluka mongameli alibulali. Kubulala ukungakhathalelwa kwabantwana bethu esuthwini. Asinaye umntana ukuthiwa ubhubhe egqibo kwaluka. Apho sinothi isiko lokwaluka liyabulala. Sinabantwana ababhubha emveni kweentsuku behleli esuthwini. Siyabacela abazali njengoba nithe enqwadalala namhlanje ndisebenzise liqonga lika president to make an appeal. It just can't be right. Every time we are going to the initiation season, sinabantwana sawuba donate ekufeni, young people. Uthango olungenamgqiku asilothango olo. Xa ndiyeka Mr. President ihlala phansi program directors. Ndiyafuna ukuthi living the values of President Mandela is not just about commemorating his legacy. It is about embodying his spirit in our daily actions. We must strive to realize the vision of the South Africa, of our National Development Plan 2030 vision. A nation that is united, inclusive, and prosperous, where the potential of each person is realized and the promise of freedom is fulfilled. Let us rise to the occasion, fellow South Africans, and make beloved Eastern Cape, and indeed our entire nation, a beacon of hope, equality, and progress. Mandela once said, and I quote, "Action without vision is only passing the time. Vision without action is merely daydreaming. But vision with action can change the world." We want peace in the world. We want stability in our country, Mongameli. Xa sisiya kulo nyulo, lukazwelonke kulo nyaka uzayo Mongameli, asisebenzeli coalition government. kuba sibabonile urhulumente benkazathi into abayenzayo. Sifuna urhulumente uzawuphumelela emagqabini. I-African National Congress apha e-Eastern Cape, Mr. President, iyakuthembisa into yoba i-ANC izawuphumelela emagqabini. Sifuna i-ANC kwilizwe lonke iphumelele emagqabini kuba i-ANC yodwa ene-vision of building a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic and prosperous society. Ezi zinto sizibeka ngolu hlobo chronologically singazigqwethi kuba zigqwethekanga. Sizawuqala ngo-unite abantu bakuthi, sibamanya ngapha kwemida yesini nebala ukuqinisekisa urhulumente wentando yesininzi khona ukuze kubekho inkqubela phambili yelizwe. Ngulo mbono esiwulandelayo sileli lizwe awukho komnye umbutho onoyenza loo nto. Abantwana abalapha abaninzi bazawuqala uvota. Ivoti ibalulekile kumntu wonke onelungelo lovota eSouth Africa. Masihambe siyobhalisela uvoto ngobuninzi bethu. Sihambe siyovota kulo nyaka uzayo. Singavoti nje ngokudlala ngevoti yethu. Sivotele i-African National Congress. Enkosi.
Thank you very much to our Premier. Siyabulela kuwe. Mr. President, we would like to express our sincere thanks to the Mandela family, abantwana nezizukulwana zakwaMandela, ngoba indlela esisebenzene nayo kakhulu sisebenzisene ukusingatha lemisebenzi esingayo namhlanje. Before I invite Sisindileka on behalf of the family, last night, Mr. President, I received a call from Unosizwe, Umama Ukraka Michelle, apologizing to you sincerely and to the organizers of this event that she could not join you today as she planned because of the urgent meeting that she's attending in Kigali. Ungaphesheya mongameli useKigali, unawe ngalomhla wanamhlanje ubhale incwadi ezawufundwa egameni lefamily kuSisindileka. Sisindileka ngicela wena.
Ndiyabendonile xa ndingabulisanga kuqala ukumkani wethu, ukumkani uZwelibanzi. Kuthiwa ke inkosazana ayikhahleli, so andizukhahlela. Ndibulise kubhuti wam omdala, upresident weli lizwe, upresident uMatamela. Ndibulise kumphathiswa weDizek, uBudzizi. Ndibulise kuweDiya. Ndibulise ku-MEC weDizrak. Premier ke ebesabakhankanyile bonke abantu, so ndizawuvele ndithi ke all protocols observed, ndingene emxholweni. Ithi incwadi ebhalwe ngumam Grasa. My respected elders, esteemed guest, and dear Mandela family, I am so disappointed that I'm unable to join you today as you unveil the statues of Madiba. I had a previous and long-standing work commitment in my role as the deputy chair of the elders, which required me to travel to Kigali, Rwanda, to speak at the Women Deliver Conference on June 18. At the time when I accepted the invitation, I thought it would be a fitting way to celebrate Madiba's birthday with women's rights activists of the world. New memorials of Madiba always give me a sense of continued present. They humble me and they fill me with both gratitude and courage. For me, it is of special significance when these memorials grace the places and communities which gave birth to Madiba and nurtured him into adulthood. Globally, he is recognized and memorialized. He became a global icon, but he came from the Eastern Cape, and he returned there. He was born in Mvezo. He was laid to rest in Qunu. Arguably, one cannot make sense of him without making sense of Timberland. I thank our national, provincial, and local government for making these two statues possible. May they be cared for with the diligence which Madiba always demanded of himself. May they always be connected to public programming, which makes a difference in the lives of communities close to them. And may they inspire those who engage with them to keep fighting for the just society Madiba dedicated his life to making a reality. I eagerly look forward to seeing the statues on my next visit home. Nosizwe Mamgrasa, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ndilega. Mr. President, I will now invite you. But before I do so, Mr. President, we are here to celebrate a sportsman. We are here to celebrate a boxer. We are here to celebrate somebody who understood that building a nation, a cornerstone of that new nation, is sport. We are here to celebrate somebody who understood the role of peace. We're celebrating him, Mr. President, at a time when the whole world is crying for peace. Different parts of the world are crying for peace. May we learn from the values of President Mandela as we celebrate his birthday today, that there is no alternative to peace, only peace that can bring us to our destiny. Here in the Eastern Cape, the home of legends, recently, Mr. President, kukho umfana omncinci oyiboxer, inspired by President Mandela, who was a boxer. Ngelishwa zange awine nefight enye ke, kodwa wayedume ngobetha. Into ebalulekileyo wayeyiboxer, because he understood boxing, he understood sport as just promoting boxing. Lowo ke uphakathi kwethu, President, udefende i-world title yakhe, and ngoku recently apha e-East London, the special one. Niyamazi ntira ngayi? Kavele bakubone the special one. Here is the champion, the world champion. He's among us today. He's a ngaphambili world champion. Ulwile waphinda wayidefenda in his home soil. The special one. Ungasondeli ku-president ungambethi, hey. Next to you, President, is a world champion. This is a world champion from South Africa in the dusty streets of Eastern Cape. Masimkhobeleni izandla. Thank you very much, a special one. President, usive nathi nontshinga xa imncinci kanje ii-punches ziyakhawuleza, President. Ii-punches ziyakhawuleza. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, world champion. President, it is these young people, like Sivenati Nonchinga, the special one, that continue to inspire others. There may be more in East London, there may be more at Qunu and other villages here, who want to be like him. It is these young people, Mr. President, who fly the South African flag on global stage to demonstrate what we are made of as South Africans. Before I call you, Mr. President, may I call you one of the iconic stars from Eastern Cape. Ophakamise igama lase Eastern Cape emculweni wacula ingoma of the year. Bethusile, kaphakamise uPresident. Bethusile, kaphakamise uPresident.
Long live the spirit of Nelson Mandela, long live! Ake siphakame sibe ngenyawo siphakamise uPresident. Sundithwale. Hayibo! Sundithwale. Akaloku. Hayi kayibambe. Kuthiwa masize nale i-song of the year. Are you ready for Noah? Isifikile imvula yamathamsanqa. Wababiza bonke Noah, wabakheli. Sing along. Hayibo! Wenze njani uNoah? Wababiza bonke uNoah, wabakheli. Wathi imvuli. Hayibo! Bapomba ngikizwa. Hayibo! Wabakheli. Wathi imvuli. Awenze kanje. Ungena Noah. Ungena Noah. Ungena Noah. Ungena Noah. Su. Ungena Noah. Ungena Noah. Ungena Noah. Wenze njani uNoah? Wababiza bonke uNoah. Hayibo! Wabakheli. Wathi imvuli. Su. Hayibo! Wenze njani? Wababiza. Sing along. Wabakheli. Wathi imvuli. Ungena Noah. Andinive Qunu, andinive ke sikule sonke. Sizongena one by one. Sizongena two by two. Sizongena. Ungena Noah. Waza. Sizongena. Hayibo, sizongena. Sizongena 3 by 3. Ungena Noah. I guess again the president. Sizongena. Hayibo, sizongena 2. Sizongena 3 by 3. Ungena Noah. Awenze kanje. Ungena Noah. Ungena Noah. Ungena Noah. Amandla. uMandela wayekhona emsabalazweni. uMandela wayekhona emsabalazweni. 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 emzabalazweni uMandela wayekhona emzabalazweni Mandela wayekhona emzabalazweni isandla manje emzabalazweni 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 amandla
Pompozone zomhlaba zehlabathi zonke izizwe zonke inhlanga lokuhlanga kalithi kwaka libombe uqwanqwa nisabela insolo xa kunamhlanje ndivumelani ndihlubule iguzwe ekhasini ndilibonise ubuhle besizwe sabathembu ewe ke mongameli namhlanje kuzalwa umakhwekhwetha umakadenethwa iqhawe lomzabalazo yoloo nto ke ndithi kudala ibhunga uyemyema usapitha ungolomsila uvela bembhentsele xa kunamhlanje ayanyakaza amathambo kanosekeni ayanyakaza amathambo kagadla yoloo nto ke inkosi ndithi mazithambe zonke izizwe ezimnyama zivume ngamxhelomnye ngazulinye zithi jonga intaba zonke izizwe ziyamngqina madoda lidela kufa uzabalazile wazama de wabuya nayo inkululeko yeli lizwe xa kunamhlanje bekuphilwa imifanekiso eqingqiweyo kadala ibhunga yiloo nto ke ndithi zenakhe isizwe sethu nilandele umkhombandlela mongameli amathole omthonyama abantwana bomgquba iinkokheli zomthonyama xa kunamhlanje beza nomyalezo kuwe bathi uzubethu buyelela kweli khaya ungapheli kumhlaba wasequnu kuba kaloku silapha nje kugcwele kunje imbeko mayinikwe isizwe sabathembu ndikuthembile mongameli uzuthethe intetha elichiza ukuze kunyaka ozayo sivotele i-ANC nderhambo larhubula sirhambo
Amandla. Amandla. Happy birthday, Madiba. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Nelson Mandela. Happy birthday. Molweni. Demasiari. Demasiari. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Mandithi ndimasiyari. Isivenda ke leso. Niyaphendula nethi abudi. Ndimasiyari. Abshini. Awu leyo niphethe. Dumelang. Sanbonani. Program directors, the Premier of the Eastern Cape, Obatu Oscar Mabuyani, Bava Mugutu delicious. And as Guti le delicious ivela pim. Niva muchi wangabo mama. Andazi ukuthi bayazi kanjani ukuthi delicious. Your Majesties, our kings and queens, okumkani namakhosi ethu, including amakhosi ethu from the Khoisan tradition, ministers and deputy ministers, our various mayors who are here with us today, the executives of the Nelson Mandela Museum, ambassadors and envoys who are here amongst us, guests and ladies and gentlemen, and fellow South Africans. I'd like to greet you all wherever you are in the name of Madiba, as I extend my greetings to the Madiba family, the Nelson Mandela family, for allowing us to be here in Qunu, where Tata grew up and which is also his final resting place. It is a real honor to be in this very special place, and a place that had a great deal of meaning for Utatu Madiba. This is where he spent his boyhood. This is where he was cared for by his family, tending cattle and listening to the stories of elders about the bravery of his people. It has been said that the two most important days in anybody's life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. It is here in Qunu that the first seeds of political consciousness were planted, where Madiba's imagination was first rekindled and stirred, and where his great mind began to be shaped. Madiba later said of this place that it was here in the hills and the valleys of Qunu, in the rolling hills of KwaDlangezwa, in the Genadendal settlement, and along the Garib, the Lekwa and Luvubu rivers, that we first understood that we are not free. In the long walk to freedom, he wrote that as he listened to the stories of the elders right here where he grew up, he hoped to someday have the opportunity to serve his people and to take his own humble contribution and make that contribution for the freedom of our people. Madiba was no humble contribution. That is, his contribution was not a humble one. He led our nation to freedom, and even today, many years since his passing, his legacy lives on. There are many monuments that paid tribute to Madiba across South Africa, across our own beloved continent, Africa, and indeed in many parts of the world, including at the United Nations, including countries such as Palestine, the United Kingdom, Seychelles, Senegal, Cuba, the United States, Brazil, China, France, and many, many other places around the world. But for us to be able to honor the father of our nation at this place that meant so much to him is something we have been working towards for a long time. Since 2021, the Eastern Cape Provincial Heritage Resource Center, the Madiba family itself, the Mandela family that is, the Nelson Mandela Museum and the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture have been driving this process, a process that included public consultation. And as human beings, we are the sum of many parts, and Madiba was no different. Our upbringing, our culture, and many other factors shape our lived experiences. The statues that we unveiled earlier today in Mthatha depicts Madiba in the role for which he was most well known, that of a world leader and a statesman. The statue that we unveiled here in Qunu depicts him in the attire of his Xhosa Thembu culture, reminding us of the traditional values that he lived by and that shaped his consciousness. As you can see today, they've sought to make me Thembu as well. And I look much more handsome than the Premier, as you can all see. It is our hope that this homage to Madiba, in his final resting place, will serve as an inspiration, especially to the young people in the community. It is to remind us that the seeds of greatness lie dormant within each one of us, and that it is up to us to make them germinate and bloom. I spent part of the morning with young people who are learning coding. And these are young people from a number of schools around here. They are already at the top end of knowledge acquisition. They are already coding something that I know nothing about. But at ages 12, 13, 14, 16, they are already becoming well-versed in coding. And as I spoke to them, I encouraged them to focus on their education and to try to be like Madiba. And I informed them that Madiba, for the most part, educated himself. He made every effort, whilst the foundation of his knowledge base was formed here where he grew up. In the end, he made the real effort himself of learning, of exploring, of being inquisitive. And today I was particularly pleased that we've got all these young people who are absorbing knowledge, modern knowledge, coding, and scaling the heights of a great educational journey. This is to remind us that being born in a rural area and their presence here and as they grow up here, or having humble beginnings, is no obstacle to achieving greatness, as well as to fulfill your destiny. It is to remind us all about our duty to do what we can to make the world a better place. uMadiba wazinikela and he made sure ukuthi uzawusebenzela isizwe. And today, as we sit here, we honor Madiba and we thank him for what he has bequeathed to us, for what he taught us, and for what he was to all of us. Monuments and statues and museums have a key role to play in the political and cultural life of any country. They are a means of giving recognition to those who suffered hardship, who suffered repression, exile, or death in pursuit of a universal ideal such as human freedom. Monuments, such as the ones that we unveiled, are the struggle of memory against forgetting. These statues of Madiba are beacons of hope to individuals and communities that are still suffering from the evils of marginalization and the scourges of poverty, inequality, and underdevelopment. Already I am told that this place has now become a very important tourist destination. Many people come here to come and see how Madiba grew up, where he grew up, to come and see his resting place. And I'm really pleased that we have created a museum, both in Mthatha and in here in Qunu, because this place is going to become a magnet that is going to bring more and more thousands of tourists. As it is now, I'm told ukuthi thousands of people from around the world bayafika apha bazawubona apha uMadiba akhulele khona. We now need to make this place even much more beautiful, much more developed, premier, kwenzela ukuthi sibize bonke abantu emhlabeni. Even here in South Africa, I would like to see South Africans traveling here to Qunu, coming here to Mthatha, to come and see the live history of our country in the presence of statues and memorial artifacts of Madiba. And this is the place of legends, and this is a resting place of one of our best legends. Masibalete apa bazobona. This statue of Madiba should serve as a reminder to those of us elected to serve the people of South Africa that we must redouble our efforts to build a better South Africa that leaves no one behind. Premier ndiyavuya ukuva umauti. Yes, progress is beginning to unfold upper Eastern Cape. And indeed, we can see ukuthi things are moving here in the Eastern Cape. And we say thank you to your leadership as well as to those that you are working with. From an infrastructure point of view, we already see ukuthi ewe izinto ziyenzeka ngoku. The Msumvu Dam is now going to be built. And kudala le project has been on the table. Umzimvubu is now going to be built. The first phase thereof, 8 billion rand, is awufakwa phaya so that idamu libe khona. Already, the 2 bridges that are being built and which will be completed, the road works that are continuing, and they are there for people to see. Ukuthi, yes, the infrastructure outlay is going on. You reminded me, Uguti, Iport yethu inqoqa or Qukha was opposed for the longest time by a number of people. And today we have a port. We have a port because the leadership here stood firm to make sure Guti, we do indeed must have another port. And I thank you for that. There are many other projects. Esisifunayo apha Eastern Cape. Already the Eastern Cape became the very first center of the manufacturing of vaccines against COVID. Kuyo yonke Africa, this was the place where vaccines were first made. And we are delighted that we can see progress. You also spoke about the young people who are being brought into schools as assistants, and they are learning the world of work, and they are being brought in their thousands. And sizawiyakha imisebenzi for abantu abatsha, and we will do that here in the Eastern Cape. Lawo nto sizawuyenza. So bantu bakuthi, yes, it's not easy ukwakha imisebenzi, but we are doing it on a continuous basis. Okwangoku, we are opening up new sectors of the economy, como renewable energy. The Eastern Cape is one of those provinces where we are going to see a lot of renewable energy projects from the sun and from the wind, and you also are going to be generating quite a lot of energy for the rest of the country as we move ahead. We're also going to see the automotive sector going to higher levels. Xa sizoqala ukwenza the electric vehicles that are soon going to be in demand in the rest of the world. The Eastern Cape will be one of our provinces that are going to be leading in making electric vehicles. So as we look to the future, Bantu bakuthi, a lot of economic development projects are going to unfold here when it comes to roads, even when it comes to water. Amanzi is the biggest challenge esinayo nalapha Eastern Cape. And already, with the building of even further water resources beyond the dam that we are going to build, we will be unfolding infrastructure. And xa senza njalo, imisebenzi izawuba khona. uMadiba wathi, as long as poverty, injustice, and gross inequality still exists in our world, none of us can truly rest. I would like to say that what Madiba taught us, what Madiba passed on to us, to be more focused as we serve the people of our country, we will continue in doing so. Madiba taught us to be so focused, and also was focused on ensuring Guti, people must get value for money. Kwenzeka ke endaweni ezininzi ukuthi ama-project aqalwe angapheli. Imali inyamalale nje endleleni. And Madiba was against that. Now with a new way of working, we want to make sure ukuthi xa project iqala, it must be completed. Xa sizowakha indlela, it must be completed. And imali ebekiweyo ukuthi yakhe leyo ndlela must be used precisely for that purpose. Inganyamalali yongena kwezinye indawo. That is what Madiba taught us. And futhi another disease which Madiba would have stood firm against, is the overpricing of projects. Sifumane ukuthi kuba ne-inflation of pricing ama projects. Xa uzowakha indlela 1 kilometer efanele ukuthi isibize mhlambe 1.5 million, thola ukuthi bathi it's 10 million. Umangala ukuthi lena enye imali iyaphi na? Iphelelaphi? Ndifuna ukuthi nayo lonto uma sizowakha ama infrastructure projects sikwazi ukuthi sijonge kakuhle. We must get value for money. Money must not just fly into the pockets of other people. Abantu baguti bafuna quality service. They want the money that the state will allocate to be used for those projects. We need to root out leyo corruption ebakhona uma siba nama project. Ama projects must be correctly priced, and when we spend money, we must know that money is going to be properly spent. Madiba would have wanted us to do that. Earlier today, a library was handed over to Zingisa Comprehensive School. I'm told that the library project was sparked by a young person. A young person who wrote a letter to the authorities that they wanted assistance for a library. And I want to thank the provincial government for acceding to this request. I am told that the library has now been handed over, and it was properly priced, it was completed, and we did what Madiba would have appreciated, to build a library as young people were Madiba's great passion. So siyabulela kuhulumeni walapha e-Eastern Cape for fulfilling this young person's dream. I call upon the people of Qunu to protect and look after these facilities that are being built. Facilities such as the museum, facilities such as the libraries, because these are built with public money, and we must therefore look after them. I have no doubt that we all have the potential to look after them, because these are the facilities that will attract tourists and support businesses, have job creation. And earlier, I also met 2 other young people who are involved. Omnye wenza ama tracksuit, wenza the uniform. A young lady who already has 52 people that work for her. Small business that has been supported also by the government. Yabulela, ukuthi we are doing things like that here, also in the rural areas. And I want to encourage us, Eastern Cape. The Eastern Cape is one of the most fertile areas in our country, so that we also focus on agriculture. Eastern Cape produces the most wonderful cattle, the most wonderful animals, and you can be the food basket when it comes to protein production for the whole country. The Eastern Cape has wonderful soil. You also produce good maize. And I call upon, yes, our government here in the Eastern Cape to focus on those economic projects. This bonele ngamehlo wami today, how one young person, a young woman, can be supported and all of a sudden create jobs, to create employment for 52 people. And I also met another young man who does Nelson Mandela Walk. They have 400 kilometers of walking, and they walk from I don't know what distance right up to here in Qunu, and celebrating Madiba's birthday as well. And they have already started a most wonderful project which Madiba would have loved. They do this walk and raise funds. And as they raise funds, they support a number of young people throughout the country. And they told me that they've already supported up to 6,000 young people from as far afield as Limpopo to all the other provinces with the money they raise, Gauteng, Mpumalanga, Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and I want us to applaud them for the wonderful work that they do of celebrating Madiba's life. And that is a very good way of memorializing and commemorating Madiba and getting young people to participate in large numbers in projects of this nature. And I have no doubt that all these activities, including this 400-kilometer walk over 8 days, have the potential to attract much more support, to attract tourists, and that will lead to a number of sub-businesses that will be created. Now, every Nelson Mandela Day, we are all called upon to devote and dedicate 67 minutes to performing acts of goodwill towards, towards others as part of making the world a better place. And if you have not yet spent your 67 minutes today, I ask that when you go home, along your way to home, spend your 67 minutes. And remember Madiba, and remember Uguti, this 67 minutes is being celebrated throughout the world, right across the various continents. People are remembering the son of this area. Today, across the world, people are celebrating Nelson Mandela Day as declared by the United Nations. So I encourage every South African to do their bit wherever you are. Madiba was a bridge builder. He built bridges of peace and mobilized people around the world to fight against conflict, to fight against violence, and to fight against social injustice and oppression. What we need to do is to strive to emulate his example. And we have been pursuing precisely that example, Madiba. And we've been saying to the world, Nelson Mandela taught us to make peace wherever we can. We're making peace in a number of countries on our own continent. We're also making peace from as far afield as in a place like Ukraine, where there's a raging war. We have participated together with other 6 African countries to go out there and make peace. One of the reasons we do so is that the negative impact that that war is having on us as Africans is that we are seeing food prices going up, we are seeing fuel prices going up, we're seeing the cost of living going up. And as it turns out, as Africans, we are the only group that is able to talk to both sides at the same time. Yesterday, I spoke to day before yesterday, I spoke to President Zelensky. I also spoke to President Putin the other day. We as Africans are the only ones who are talking to both and calling for peace. The others are just talking to one side at a time. Now, we do this because we are living up to the lessons that we were taught by Nelson Mandela. So that is why today we remember Madiba very fondly. We remember him for what he stood for. We also remember him for what he taught us. And even as we tell the world that the reason why we've taken the stance that we are taking in that war in the Ukraine, it is because of what Nelson Mandela taught us. From the beginning, we said that conflict needs to be resolved through dialogue, through negotiations, through peacemaking. And we have stuck to that. We're very proud that a number of African countries have joined in this peace mission, this peace initiative. Sizawenza njalo ngoba safundiswa uMadiba. uMadiba kwakuwumuntu woxolo, wasifundisa kakuhle. Siyabaxelela bonke, kungaba oBiden, kungaba oMacron, kungaba obanibani, sithi lento esiyenzayo thina safundiswa uMadiba. And nani, if benine luck esinayo, you could have sat at Madiba's feet to drink from his wisdom about how conflicts can be resolved. And in the course of doing so, we also told them, ukuthi uMadiba, he is the one who led us to have the conflict of apartheid resolved. He is the one who led us to ensure that the apartheid nightmare comes to an end by teaching us that dialogue, negotiation is the best way to move forward. With that, we will continue to emulate Madiba. We will continue to do our every bit to try to be like Madiba. We will try, as he taught us, to follow in his footsteps. With that, I'd like to say, for me, this is a happy hour. This is a really happy moment to be celebrating Madiba's birthday here in Qunu, where he grew up. It is a happy moment to be here in the place and the province of legends and to walk the footpaths of where Madiba walked so that we can draw from the wisdom that Madiba has left us. And allow mazwingiti, let us remember Madiba fondly and let us continue to remember him and showcase Madiba to the rest of the world and be proud as South Africans that we had a leader like Madiba and we continue to cherish him and to love him, and we will continue to commemorate him so that we never forget Nelson Mandela and what he meant to us. Long live Nelson Mandela, long live. Long live Nelson Mandela, long live. Amandla, Amandla, Yabulen.
Yes. 1, 2. Zwanga ke ntoza semzini. Vulani indlela bugabuku bumnyama. Sibambeni ngazo zozibini zingabine.
Vala lo mic kulo ndawo kuyo. Please be seated. Before I call upon the executive mayor to give us a vote of thanks, Ungondwana, Mr. President, I do want to acknowledge in your presence on this day someone who gave President Mandela an identity. Utatu Mandela ebene identity bekunomuntu onxibisa utatu Mandela. He's known for his shirt internationally and globally. That designer is here today, who designed the t-shirt and the shirt enxitywa utatu Mandela yaziwa today as Mandela shirt. Where is Sonwabile and Damase? That is a person who beautified our president everywhere he went. There was somebody called Sonwabile Ndamase who comes from this region of Owartambo, Impondo, Opifaku. Mandiniyeke ke ngelishwa ke kodwa masimacknowledge. Ngwena mntu owenza uMadiba abe yile nto yaziwayo, masimqhobeleni izandla. Mayor, khawusibulele sihambe. Ngqondwana.
The program directors, umphathiswa uZizi, nomphathiswa uMabhayi, Your Excellency, Mr. President of the Republic of South Africa, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It will be very unfortunate if you do not fall either in the distinguished guests or ladies and gentlemen. I will have to make a special greeting to you. I have the honor of conveying words of appreciation to us all esidibene apha namhlanje. We thank you not only for having attended the day or for having made many little different contributions to see it a success, but we thank you for being part of the people that identify with Madiba and his legacy. The truth is that Madiba is because of us, and we are because he is. And for that reason, I thank each and every one of you, because you would not have taken the toll to come spend your day here if it was not because you think Madiba belonged to you. I prefer for 1 second to make a brief reference to Hussein Besley when he talks about the Turkish president, Recep Erdogan. He makes some points describing how he perceives him. And in that description, there are very important words that show up. He talks about diligence, about discipline, about intelligence, and he says, and a due portion of ambition. And ezi zimpawu esibona ngathi uMadiba ubenazo, yaye zizo ezibangele ukuba abeleli qhawe sidibenele ukulonwabela namhlanje. I make an emphasis on this quality of a due portion of ambition because leaders, through their daily undertaking of their leadership roles, have got the duty to implant the seed of ambition to the people they lead. Inkokheli ezinganqweneli kuba ndawo engaphambili nebhetele azinawo amandla nobunganga bokwenza okokuba isizwe sikhukhumale sibe nomdlandla. That's why I fell in love with this phrasing of a due portion of ambition, which is what defined uMadiba. There's not much that we intend to say, except to say As the current generation, the generation of young leaders in us, those who are holding public office today, we have got a few sicknesses that we have the duty to fight against. And prime amongst them is the sickness of revisionism. In most instances, we have got people who seek to revise history and portray Madiba and his class in a manner that is an antithesis of what he and his fellows stood for. This is the perspective of history and narrative that our generation have got the duty to fight for and defend. We have to explain to the youth, we have to explain to everyone who's holding an office of leadership today that whilst we appreciate the many tactical maneuvers that our leaders made in their conduct of struggle, some of which make some of us suggest that they did not do enough in their struggle for our liberation. But we have to remind them that in us, they thought that were leaders that would come, fully mindful of their responsibility to take the baton and push and press forward with the struggle. We must fight against the sickness of a generation of leaders that is so entitled that in the face of adversities, we turn our spears and confront our forebears. We turn our spears and spit at the face of progressive history of both our revolution and our country. And we have to engage on this and explain that we have a generational responsibility to take the spear and press ahead with the struggle. Contemporary challenges belong to us, and it is our responsibility to confront them. It is our responsibility to propose and provide solutions to current generations and say, Madiba balihambile elabebango. It is our responsibilities to make things to change and become different. Yesterday, in the pursuit of that noble cause, the Eastern Cape Department of Health handed over a contractor that is expected to build a new state-of-the-art oncology unit at the Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital at a cost value of 416.2 million rands. This initiative is expected to create in excess of 250 jobs over the 18-month contract period. But most importantly, what it will do most, it will spare our people from OR Tambo of the burden of having to travel to East London and Gqeberha for cancer treatment. This is a great achievement for the people of OR Tambo. Mr. President, Honorable Premier, on behalf of the people of OR Tambo, I must say that the investments that you make in the OR Tambo district for the people of OR Tambo do not go unnoticed. And on behalf of the people of this district, I convey a word of appreciation to you. And we keep assuring you that this province, this district, is the mainstay of the African National Congress. And we continue re-emphasizing the fact that the OR Tambo district and the Alfred Nzo district are the two most poor or the poorest regions in the entire country. And very unfortunately, this is something we must say every time we get the opportunity. But as we say it, we do not say it in the context of saying we do not see the initiatives that are being made turn the situation around. And for that, we really and very sincerely thank you so much.